Good evening. A so-called doomsday cult raided by police last week is fighting back, not with guns and ammunition, but with threats of legal action. An outspoken grandmother who fears for the welfare of her two grandchildren has been warned she'll be sued for defamation.
When Leslie Ballygod's phone rang yesterday, she hoped it'd be her son, Raphael, whom she hasn't heard from in weeks. Instead, it was one of the Agape cult's senior members.
And then he said, "You're going to be served with writs on Monday and you're going to have to prove what you've been saying."
On Friday, Leslie had fronted the media, raising concerns about the group her son's been involved with for 17 years. It followed police raids on 13 properties, which uncovered guns, high-powered ammunition and explosives. There are claims the group has links to the Rebels bikie gang. The ministry's leader, Rocco Leo, remains on the run, possibly in Fiji. It's believed members have paid him up to $10 million to buy a Pacific island to escape Armageddon. Leslie suspects the legal threats are merely an attempt to silence her.
Just to make me feel afraid, but I refuse to be intimidated by these people.
7 News has been told Rocco Leo is now trying to convince his followers that he foresaw last week's police raids happening and that all the bad publicity is part of God's plan to test their resolve.
You can almost sort of see how people get swayed into it, especially if they've just lost a family member or if they're dying of cancer. Sometimes people clutch at straws.
Mark Mooney, 7 News.
There's been an outpouring of grief for a 2-year-old boy killed when he was run down by a train north of Adelaide yesterday. Locals say the busy railway line was bound to claim another life sooner or later.
Today, devastated relatives converged on the family farmhouse to comfort the little boy's parents.
It's very tragic, you know. It's a terrible thing.
Trains just rocked through on a Saturday and little 2-year-old wouldn't stand a chance.
Around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, the toddler was playing with his 4-year-old sister and 2 other youngsters when he wandered the 100 metres from home to the train crossing on his scooter. 7 News understands the train driver saw something on the track ahead and sounded his horn. It wasn't until the last moment when the little boy stood up that the train driver realised the tragic circumstances, but it was too late. The boy's father and uncle were first on scene. The family had moved to Nantawarra from Adelaide last year.
You wonder how a kid got down that far, but knowing what kids are like, they wander off without any warning.
It might seem to be a quiet part of the world, but up to 16 grain, freight and passenger trains use this track every day.
People from the city come out into the country thinking that it's a safer environment for the kids, but in this day and age there is more traffic on the country roads. We've got a lot more trains on the track.
Last August, 2 people died nearby at a level crossing. Michelle Vella, 7 News.